In the ancient rainforests of northeast Australia, a living dinosaur is making a last stand. This magnificently weird creature is known as the world's most dangerous bird, the mysterious cassowary. Meet Bertha. She is massive and powerful, but she's up against tough odds. Everywhere in the forest, rivals and predators threaten her eggs and young. For her species to survive, she must run a constant race to keep breeding. This is the story of Bertha, a prehistoric and endangered dino bird. Australia is a land of deserts, but the far north reaches up into the wet tropics. And this region is home to a mature stand of ancient rainforest, almost unchanged for millions of years. In this patch of rainforest, Bertha is the mistress of all she surveys. She looks like a cross between an ostrich and a velociraptor. A great-grandmother of the forest, she is now more than 40 years old. A flightless giant, she stands nearly 180 centimetres tall and weighs 70 kilograms. No bird in the world is quite like the cassowary, and no single cassowary is quite like Bertha. The large bony casque crowning her head attests to her great age. Perhaps the larger the casque, the more dominant the bird. And Bertha's casque is one of the largest. It slants slightly to the right, making her easy to recognise. In the world of cassowary, females rule. Bertha's territory is one of the best. 3 kilometres squared of ancient rainforest. Towering peaks feed the creeks that course through her territory. With such a lush forest in her possession, she has command over the best males. So it's no surprise that Bertha is pregnant. Now her massive body needs even more fuel than usual. For the cassowary, this means fruit and lots of it. Hunger drives her to visit an abandoned orchard in the centre of her territory. A reliable source of fruit when it's scarce in the forest. While some morsels can be had with a simple pluck, others require more effort. She has only vestigial wings, so her legs have become her way to fly. they can launch her 1.5 metres in the air. It's the start of the dry season, and Bertha's territory still gets occasional downpours. And this is when Bertha prefers to lay her eggs. But it appears that she is being watched. It's a male named Crinklecut, the father of her developing eggs. Crinklecut keeps a respectful distance from his formidable mistress. Crinklecut is Bertha's favourite partner, and every breeding season for the last 5 years, she has mated with him first. While it's not a close relationship, Crinklecut has the qualities Bertha desires. He is a great dad. In cassowary, it's the males that raise the young. Extremely rare in nature, male-only parenting occurs in just 1% of all bird species. Bertha lays each of her 600-gram eggs directly onto the forest floor. This is the moment that Crinklecut has been waiting for. From the moment her eggs are laid, Bertha's parental duties are done, and she melts into the forest without a backward glance. Crinklecut's parental instincts take over. He shades and guards the eggs, turning them regularly to ensure they develop evenly. Crinklecut is an experienced father, and Bertha has chosen a nest site in the heart of her territory. Crinklecut will brood Bertha's eggs for the next 52 days. It will be a long and lonely vigil. Despite the dedication of the males, many chicks won't survive. So Bertha can't afford to breed just once a year. Shortly after laying a clutch of eggs, she's ready to mate again, and off in search of other devoted dads. The destruction of tropical forests has meant that not all cassowaries have the luxury of living in the pristine part of the forest. Some are forced to become fringe dwellers. This male lives on the edge of Bertha's territory. His name is Buster. He has learnt to survive in this disturbed part of the forest. And he is advertising his availability. Using specialised long-distance calls, the low frequency travels further, rumbling along the forest floor and through the vegetation. It's an effective way to be heard in such a dense forest. And Bertha is highly tuned to the lure of this love song. Her cask may be an ancient receiver of sorts. Inside, it has a honeycomb-like structure and an extensive vascular network, thought to enhance the cassowary's sensitivity to these low-frequency sounds. This method of communication is believed to have first occurred in dinosaurs. Bertha picks her way through the primeval rainforest to the very fringe of her territory. A mile from where Crinklecut is now sitting on her eggs. It's a blind date, but she has another chance to reproduce. She emerges from her emerald green forest. And there's the object of her present desire. It's Buster. Female cassowaries are usually 25% larger than males. And Bertha is among the biggest and bossiest. Their approach is tentative. Her regal presence is intimidating the young Casanova. Buster is only 13 years old. One wrong move and he can ruin the courting, and possibly be punished for it. He sticks close to her, but not too close, and begins his courting display. He displays his bright colours and preens his feathers. It seems Her Majesty is not displeased. Giving up the single life for the next few weeks, they'll form an uneasy partnership. This will be one of several matings over the coming weeks. It's one of the few times that Bertha appears to be submissive. Within a few weeks, our matriarch has seduced 2 dedicated dads into protecting her progeny on 2 different nests. While Bertha has been off chasing younger men, dutiful Crinklecut has remained on the nest, enduring the worst of the dry season. He's doing his best to shade the precious eggs. But he still has 2 more weeks before they'll hatch. The dry season shows no sign of abating. Eels must cross dry land in search of the last remaining waterholes. Trees shed their leaves in an attempt to prevent water loss. A thick layer of leaf litter builds on the forest floor. Perfect conditions for a leaf litter specialist. The orange-footed scrubfowl rake through the leaf litter in search of moisture-laden worms and insects. The pair have to visit the creek daily, and this waterhole is the last one left. Bertha is a regular here. With no sweat glands and covered in black hair-like feathers, Bertha has to avoid the sun, where she can quickly overheat. In this weather, she prefers to stay hidden in the darkest parts of the forest. Buster, who is currently minding Bertha's second batch of eggs, is in a bind. Here, at the thin edge of the forest near the beach, his home is more exposed to the relentless sun. Overheating and panting to try to cool down, he's gone in search of water. Left in the open and with their minder nowhere in sight, the 4 eggs quickly attract attention. But while young Buster is still at the creek, a more serious threat appears and approaches the nest. It's a female, but it's not Bertha. In this forest, competition between females is intense. Buster returns, but it's too late. He doesn't interfere. Female cassowaries rule the roost, even if they're destroying it. And she could inflict a serious injury with her spiked claws. He can only cower and watch the complete devastation of his family. Buster surveys the damage. All that hard work now wasted. He abandons what's left of the nest, knowing he cannot stop the intruding female. As dusk falls, a feral pig arrives on the scene of the crime. These aggressive omnivores usually pose an even greater threat to cassowary nests than rival females. But this pig finds the hard work has already been done for him. A whole brood destroyed. Bertha's laid 8 eggs, and now only 4 remain. As night falls and the cassowaries sleep, a strange cast takes the stage. Bioluminescent fungi provide the lighting. Mammals appear, hungry from a long day in hiding. And with them, villains. This is the amethystine python. Heat-sensing pits in his lower jaw allow him to see his mammalian prey in the dark. Being cold-blooded, this white-lipped green tree frog should be safe. Crinklecut is in the last week of guarding his eggs. Defending your nest in the rainforest is one of the most important things a bird can do, especially with lace monitors on the prowl. These monitors are nest raiders. Crinklecut is on guard, so the monitor has his work cut out. Perhaps an easier meal is on offer. Nearby, bird calls have caught the attention of the lace monitor. These white streamers belong to one of the rainforest's more colourful visitors. The buff-breasted paradise kingfisher has made its annual migration here from New Guinea to breed. Good news for the hungry lace monitor. This kingfisher pair has commandeered a termite mound for its nest. Having laid their eggs in the centre of the mound, they are now caring for 3 young chicks, the source of all the noise. The parents collect insects all day long. But the shrill demands from within the mound never stop begging for more. With the parents busy, the lace monitor makes his move. It would seem that the chicks are doomed. But the pair return to defend their territory and the nest. The lace monitor decides to head off in search of food that won't fight back. And the parents can relax, but only for a moment. The oppressive dry season finally relents. The start of the wet season brings with it a new menu of rainforest fruit. and just in time for Crinklecut. His patience has finally paid off. He's now a proud father. Three of Bertha's 4 eggs have hatched successfully. Bertha may not be the most faithful partner, so there's no guarantee that all 3 chicks are his. But he cares for them all equally. The chicks are striped for camouflage in the leaf litter. They won't get their elaborate adult colours until 4 years of age. The little ones mimic his every move. He breaks the fruit apart for the chicks. They're capable of swallowing some fruit whole. Occasionally, they get a little too ambitious. Crinklecut's chicks are only 3 weeks old, and Dad keeps them close. Finally, the wet season has begun. It's a welcome relief for Bertha. In search of the new season's figs, she's moved down to the swollen creek. The water is now deep. And hides the infamous saltwater crocodile, the largest predator in Australia. It's an ambush predator and will silently and patiently stalk its prey. He needs Bertha to venture into deeper water, where he lies waiting. Not the wisest place to stop. Perhaps an easier meal is on offer. A feral pig forages the riverbank. It hasn't seen the croc. Thankfully for Bertha and the forest, this croc has a taste for pork. With an estimated 60,000 feral pigs infested into the remaining cassowary habitat, they are a serious threat to Bertha's chicks. Now that Crinklecut's chicks are older, they're ranging further afield in search of food. The leaf litter harbours much more than fruits and berries. The amethystine python rarely hunts during the day, but is attracted by the sounds of our cassowary family foraging. A cassowary chick would be a significant meal. Crinklecut spots the snake. He stands tall and clucks aggressively. His feet speak to his dinosaur ancestry. With 3 massive toes, the inner one a deadly spike. The cassowary is one of only 2 birds to have ever killed a human. The python will lie in wait, camouflaged in the leaf litter. But with Crinklecut on guard, the python retreats to the canopy. Crinklecut defended his brood from the snake, but in the confusion, 2 of the chicks have wandered off. If the missing chicks are left alone for too long, they'll begin to attract unwanted attention. The remaining chick, Wundu, is the smallest and least confident. Crinklecut's search brings him to the creek, which is now flowing strongly. Crinklecut's missing chicks could be on the other side. But in crossing, Wundu could be swept away. Sure at first, Wundu quickly thinks better of it. Crinkle will have to search for another place to cross. This looks better. And there is a surprise waiting for Crinklecut on the other side. The family has been reunited. Wundu and his siblings still have a lot to learn. Usually, cassowary chicks aren't ready to strike out on their own until they're 9 months old. If they make it that far. Bertha's territory is home to a wide spectrum of colourful critters. Some need to stand out from the crowd. But others prefer camouflage. If the disguise isn't perfect, there's many hungry mandibles waiting. Cassowary choose to be seen. They have bright red wattles on their neck and the ability to see ultraviolet light, making these colours, especially the blue, even brighter to their eyes. The wet season is now at its most intense. 20 centimetres of rain fall in a single 24-hour period. During these massive storms, Bertha hunkers down to wait out the worst. This heavy, wet season rain has loosened the soil and brought down an old rotten tree. Here, where sunlight now floods the forest floor, cassowary and plant forge a fascinating relationship. A viciously self-protective plant takes root in the newly disturbed soil. Fast-growing and a pioneer in the disturbed landscape, the stinging tree is armed with silicon shards like powdered glass. Most animals that touch them are in for a world of pain. Browsers would be wise to give them a wide berth. The storm has brought a new bounty of fruit for Bertha. The hundreds of fruits she eats a day take a rapid but gentle trip through her gut, which strips away only the flesh. Soon, Bertha makes her way to this sunny patch in the forest. In passing, she leaves her seed-rich droppings in this new forest opening, complete with her own compost. The perfectly cleaned seeds, primed by her unique digestive juices, are now under the protection of the pain-inducing plant. The seeds, which may have come from a tree more than a mile away, can germinate and grow unmolested by herbivores. This tree, the Riparosa, was certainly planted this way. It needs the cassowary for survival. This endangered Riparosa tree will germinate 92% of the time after the seed has passed through a cassowary. The seeds that don't make this journey germinate only 4% of the time. Eventually, the trees will reach the canopy and block the sun once again, providing habitat for all other forest dwellers. Over thousands of generations, cassowary like Bertha have shaped their territory. The forest is now World Heritage listed. But it can never be totally safe, for dangerous and destructive invaders abound. Feral pigs. They're ravenous fruit eaters too, robbing Bertha and her offspring of much-needed sustenance. They destroy potential cassowary habitat, threatening the survival of the species. And the pigs also bring another terrible threat to the cassowary. Pig-hunting dogs, bred to track and chase down feral pigs until their owners can kill them. They wear protective gear around their necks and chests to ward off the pig's sharp tusks. A cornered pig is a very dangerous one. The dogs are swift, but Crinkle Cut's alert. He is capable of killing dogs, but he can't protect his vulnerable chicks at the same time. His family stands little chance against this marauding mob. The day after the pig hunt, 2 of Crinkle Cut's chicks are gone. It's a devastating blow. Bertha and Crinkle Cut now have only 1 chick left, Wundu. All Crinkle Cut's efforts now focus on Wundu's survival. The promise within Bertha's 8 eggs has been reduced to 1 surviving chick. Deep in the darkest part of the forest, a lovely, if strange, bit of architecture is taking shape. Rising between 2 saplings is a delicately decorated bower. It's not a nest. This maypole of sticks is a form of seduction. And this is the architect, a male golden bowerbird. He has been spending weeks on his masterpiece. Ornamenting it with lichen and flowers. He selects and places each decorative touch with care. His mating success depends upon it. If the bower is impressive enough, a female may consent to mate with him. The bower is purely for show. The female will build a separate nest elsewhere. There is now only 1 surviving chick from the year's brood. With all the devotion and protection afforded an only child, Wundu has made it to 7 months old. Living on Bertha's territory has ensured he's always been well fed. He has lost his boyhood stripes in favour of teenage muted brown feathers. He's more and more independent, venturing further from Crinkle Cut as he searches for fallen figs. Unknown to him, he's going to need this self-reliance sooner than most chicks. He is about to be driven from his rainforest home. Crinkle Cut and Wundu forage near the edge of their range. An extremely dangerous edge. Several cassowary are killed on roads every year. But today the threat is not traffic. It's Bertha. Bertha has the desire to mate again. Cassowaries usually mate in the dry season, But the sudden glut of wet season fruit may have fired up Bertha's reproductive urges. This is desperately bad news for Wundu. To mate with Crinklecut, she'll need Wundu out of the picture. While it seems brutal, there's cold evolutionary logic behind it. If she mates now, she could have a successful clutch while the forest is still wet and full of fruit. With Buster's clutch destroyed and 2 chicks killed by dogs, she has to try and keep breeding. She can never rest. Crinklecut hasn't raised Wundu for the full 9 months yet, and he isn't ready to relinquish him. So he lets Bertha know his disapproval. But, as usual, Bertha prevails. If Wundu is going to survive, he'll need to find a territory of his own. He won't be tolerated in Bertha's patch of forest for long. As he begins his journey, he passes through Bertha's orchard. It's no longer the safe haven for him it once was. It may be several years before he finds a good rainforest territory of his own. With Wundu gone, Bertha and Crinklecut were able to breed successfully again. Crinkle is now sitting on Bertha's next clutch. Since she began breeding over 35 years ago, Bertha has laid countless eggs, giving rise to dozens of cassowaries who have survived to adulthood. She has forged a dynasty. Her offspring, just like Wundu, now garden and protect their own parts of the rainforest. And engage in the endless quest to breed. But for now, Bertha is still strong. And the queen of her forest. And she's searching once again for her next mate.